Hello. Alright, today we're going to try Tier 11 Waterworks. I've done this once before on the Mage for the achievement, and it was miserable. And I didn't record the kill, probably because it was like try number 20. And I just gave it a couple tries, and it's not much better than it was, even though we've had tuning in a couple weeks. But we'll give it another try here and see if we can make it through. I'm running my usual frostfire build for the delves, which I'll share in the description. There'll also be, I take that same spec and I trim it down just a little bit, pull out the AoE control stuff for more survivability, but we'll be using that spec on Waxface, and I will share that build as well in the description. Bran is set up as healer. We're using Porcelain Arrowhead Idol and the Amorphous Relic. Oh, that is interesting. So we do have a mini boss, but it looks like we can skip it. So on a previous poll, I noticed that right here seems to be a line of sight for casting, so I should be able to pull the mystics over, assuming we can pull them without. Oh yeah, see, there's a line of sight. That was not at all how I planned to do that, but yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. As well as the mini boss skip. That's pretty slick. All the mobs in here are pretty brutal, even for an 11. One trick I like to use sometimes. Brand does not hold aggro like he used to, but it's good to let him pull aggro first sometimes. So if you tap the mobs gently, something like a fire blast, let Brand get a little bit of a head start. The majority of the mobs in this 11 can kill you in just a couple seconds, so it's best to be cautious, especially here because you need as many lives as possible going into that end boss. Alright, looks like we got Reno and his little buddy. They are not easy to fight on 11, but their stun buff is pretty awesome, so we're going to go ahead and fight these guys, and we're going to blow full cooldowns on them.
Commander.
Just want to make sure you interrupt that little guy as much as possible. He can actually cast his self-heal a little faster than a counter spell comes up from cooldown, so if you can burst him down as much as you can, that helps a lot. Okay, so there's the stun. Okay, I got a double mystic pull, which is controllable. The thwacker, you got to make sure you lock him down and don't let him get too close to you because he hits pretty hard. I don't know if it's obvious or you can see, but I stand right behind here. That breaks line of sight, and it seems to be pretty consistent throughout this dungeon, so you can maneuver the casters a little bit that way. Alright, looks like we got our next prisoner underneath these empowered guys, so Let's see if we can get Bran to pick up aggro on the Mystic there. Can't really interrupt his attacks there, his casted attacks, but you can outrange them if you move out of range right as he's casting. Okay, so we got Invis back up, so I think that's what we're going to do here.
Careful! The totem's power will drain whenever you take a step.
Oh, unless we don't need to. We got a bunch of bats and the Skullface. So Skullface is the biggest danger in this bull. Okay, 2 more workers to go. It doesn't really look like we need them, but chances are pretty good we're going to die on Wax Face, and we will res right there. But those mobs tend to patrol around a little bit, so you'll aggro and then right after you die to Waxface, then you'll get killed by the mob. So we're going to go ahead and clear around the res point here. I will try to skip that task finder if possible. Though he's probably going to aggro too, so. Oh, having done all that, it's probably not a bad idea to clear these other people too, so. Because I can almost guarantee Waxface will not be a one-shot. Okay, we are at the wax face fight, and looks like we're in pretty decent shape overall. Take a second to look at the. Well, let me make sure there's no power-ups anywhere. Look like it. Okay, so sharing a little bit of the talent trees. So here's the standard build that I use. So we've got Blast Wave, Dragon's Breath. Help you out a little bit. But we are going to swap to same build I'm using for Zekvir. So I did complete that on tier ? But so you pull out your spec over here stays pretty much the same, though we are adding in Ray of Frost and Cryopathy, but because we're not doing any AOE damage, right? But we are pulling out Blast Wave and Dragon's Breath, so we can pick up full barrier protection, that Tempest barrier, which is not big, but it helps a little bit, to get a shield when you blink. Because this guy is pretty rough, so you got to juggle your different cooldowns, which I'm not perfect at, right? But you've got Alter Time, you've got your barriers. That Throw Wax will remove the barrier, will remove that snare, but the initial hit of it is actually worse than the snare. So rather than save your barrier to remove that snare, it's better to pre-barrier that, so you're not getting hit as hard. Oh, there we go. Let me reload UI. Add-ons have been acting a little strange today, so maybe it's... Yeah, check for updates again. I have not really found a way to line of sight his fire AoE. I don't think that you can. So you need to make sure you can heal yourself, or you got potions around for that. Don't want to, of course, stand in the green, and it's best to, if you can, stay away from the boss, so that when Bran throws his potions, they don't end up in that green pool and you can't get to them. We are going to go full cooldowns here. We're not going to use a damage potion, so we can use Cave Dwellers and regular healing potion, as this fight is pretty brutal. So, and we will start out with all cooldowns and mirror image, because we're going to try to burn shifting power as much as we can throughout the fight and get those cooldowns back. Hey, hey, I got lucky there. Bran was on the ball. Well, alright, there you go. That's tier 11 on Waterworks with a Frost Mage. Said I will link my talent specs I'm using in the description so you guys can take a look at that. Hey, thanks for riding along.